The police timeline of what happened when at the shooting in Texas last week continues to change, and both police and the school district have stopped cooperating with the Texas probe, raising all sorts of questions about what on earth happened, including some less than helpful speculation, and we'll talk about all of it. If there's one thing that we can be sure of, if any talking point has been brutally destroyed by what happened in Texas last week, it's the idea of the good guy with the gun as the solution to bad guys with guns. That has been utterly and completely destroyed. But we still have to figure out what is going on and why it is not only that the police and school district have stopped cooperating with the Texas investigation, but why the timeline put out there by police continues to change. There's a CNN article addressing this. As the funerals continue, authorities' timeline of the terror at Robb Elementary School continues to shift. The Texas Department of Public Safety now says the door the shooter used to access the school was closed, but not locked when he entered before killing 21 people there. That's a change from last week when the department's director said the back door had been propped open by a teacher. Turns out that apparently wasn't true. On Tuesday, its spokesperson told the AP the teacher closed the door once she realized the shooter was on campus, but the door did not lock. The department's press secretary confirmed yesterday to CNN that the AP report was accurate. Tuesday's clarification represents just one of the shifts in authorities' explanations of the massacre's timeline. They face mounting questions over why 80 minutes. We at first thought it was 40 to 60. We now know 80 minutes elapsed from the time officers were called to the moment a tactical team entered the locked classrooms and killed the gunman. These are sort of like the main changes so far, and also important and unclear why, and we're going to talk about this more on the bonus show, is this question of why the cooperation has stopped. ABC News reporting. Uvalde Police School District no longer cooperating with Texas probe of shooting. The police department and independent school district police force are no longer cooperating with the Texas Department of Public Safety's investigation into the massacre at the elementary school, multiple law enforcement sources tell ABC. The Uvalde police chief and spokesperson for the school district did not immediately respond for requests for comment. According to sources, the decision to stop cooperating occurred soon after the director of DPS held a news conference Friday, during which he said the delayed police entry into the classroom was the wrong decision and contrary to protocol. Something clearly is going on here. Now, there are some who are going way beyond what the facts show. I even started to see, I hesitate to even mention this, but I think it's important to mention with the note that there's no evidence of this, that some are saying this is evidence that it might have actually been police that killed some of the victims. There is no evidence of that at this point in time. Absolutely none. But the point is to let you know how far some are going in interpreting the halt to the cooperation. The most likely scenario is also the most obvious scenario, which is the response was bungled. The good guys with the guns didn't go in, at least partially because they were afraid of being shot, with which I sympathize. But the whole point of having police is that they are the good guys with guns to stop the bad guys with guns. And waiting 80 minutes is not the way the system is supposed to work. But listen, who wouldn't be afraid of getting shot if there's a gunman with multiple assault rifles going crazy? That part makes sense. The response does not. That's the most likely explanation, that it was mishandled and they tried to stay one step ahead of the questions that eventually came because their explanations didn't make sense. They failed to actually stay a step ahead, and now it's all coming down. That's the most likely explanation. The speculation is going to be there regardless. But the most important takeaway here, as we get back to the main thing, is this is not going to be the problem of mass shootings is not going to be resolved by talking about mental health alone. Obviously, it's not. And in fact, we'll later talk about how Greg Abbott says it's a mental health issue, but defunded mental health in Texas. Unbelievable. That's not going to solve it. It's not going to be an issue with doors. And it's certainly not going to be an issue of more armed people. At some point, you're going to have to deal with the firearms. And we will discuss more about this on today's bonus show. One of our sponsors is called Privacy. Privacy is a totally free service that I've been using for years. Privacy lets me create virtual payment cards with one click. And when I use the virtual card, the money is taken out of my bank account. You can create multiple cards, delete them, freeze them, set a spending limit on them. Let's say I'm signing up for a free trial and it requires a credit card. Privacy will autofill a virtual card number, and then after signing up, I can delete that virtual card. So I know I'm not going to be charged again. Something really useful and very practical. Or let's say I'm ordering food over the phone, but I left my wallet somewhere. I don't have my real credit card on me. I can use a virtual card on my Privacy mobile app. But really the best part is you're not out there exposing your real credit card number, so you're not as susceptible to data breaches and identity theft. Privacy is a totally free service, and you'll get $5 to spend when you go to privacy.com/Pacman. The link is right underneath this video.